Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Let's talk a little bit about what's been happening in the world of crypto price-wise over the last, say, 24 to 48 hours in particular. And not just that, but this stuff happens all the time, even in bull markets. This volatility, even to the downside. And I'll tell you, this type of volatility, it's within a certain range, but going on for months on end, this is the type of stuff that shakes people out. Eventually, there are no more lettuce hands to sell and just capitulate. And then the market does resume to the upside once a sufficient number of them are shaken out. And I expect this to be no different. And nobody can know for sure, but if you're speaking in terms of probability, sure. And I'm going to share with you perspective from a couple XRP chart analysts, including one who says basically history is about to repeat. And I have to say, I agree with the sentiment, and you don't need to be a chart guy to come to that reasonable supposition that that is indeed what is most profitable. It is so obvious that this asset class moves together. XRP is coiled so long. So if we are going to have true expansion, especially in altcoins, you better believe XRP is going to melt everybody's face off. It's going to be fantastic. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, I'm going to try and keep this one short and sweet because my last video went longer than I intended. I think it was like 25 minutes, so at this moment, I have slightly less time than I intended, but it was totally worth it. That last video, I was talking about the latest update in the SEC v. Ripple case, and these suppositions, I'll say, these expectations that based on a new SEC document filed to Judge Torres, that this indicates that there's going to be a settlement between SEC and Ripple to the tune of $102.6 million, far shy of the $2 billion the SEC has been telling Judge Torres they actually want. And that, I debunked the hell out of it, and it's hard for me to understand how there are some influencers that thought it was reasonable to spout that about. It's very clear that isn't the case. So I encourage you to check out the last video, but I'm going to try to keep this one a little bit short and sweet. At the time I'm recording this, XRP is at 48 cents, Bitcoin at 66,355 bucks, Crypto Fear and Greed Index at 74 out of 100. So, despite the volatility, things aren't that bad. Here's a 7-day chart for Bitcoin. Of course, if you look at the 24-hour chart, yeah, it's certainly volatile, getting as low as $65,310. I can understand that scares people when you are getting used to, in recent times, Bitcoin being closer to, $70,000. I get that. XRP sure as hell took a beating because it moves in tandem with the market. This doesn't mean there's something wrong with XRP. Got as low as 46 cents. Has popped up a bit since then. This is a 7-day chart. Here's the 24-hour chart. But scared people, negative sentiment out on social media platform X. Not surprised to see that. Impacts me 0%. I expect humans, we're just biological robots, basically. I expect them to keep acting the same, more or less, as we've seen in previous market cycles. It's the same DNA, the same personality traits, all of that. It's still intact in all of these humans, so you should expect this. I just am aware of that, so I'm not going to act like that. Here's a post from a chart analyst named Wrecked Proof. And it was reposted by chart analyst Credible Crypto, one of my favorite analysts out there. And Credible Crypto said, in reposting this, "Let's effing go! Wrecked Proof on Team Bulla. One of the most calm and composed traders on this platform, who I have learned a lot from just by paying attention to his tweets." And, it turns out, I don't know if I've ever highlighted him on my channel, but I was already following him. I follow a fair number of people, though, and not everything pops up in my feeds here, but he's very popular analyst, 243,700 followers. And plus, on top of that, even if I weren't following, the fact that Credible Crypto says, I learned from him, I'm like, oh, because you're teaching everybody in crypto. So kind of fascinating to see that. So I was kind of curious, what's he talking about here? And as it turns out, he basically, I don't want to go through his whole thread here just for the sake of time, but he was calling this most recent move down. He had a post dating back to May 30th, in which what ultimately played out is in line with what he squiggled he thought was probable to happen. And so it's just fascinating to see that. This stuff happens, folks. You should expect that even in bull markets, and that will tell you, this is the least volatile bull market in the history of this asset class. And with each subsequent bull market, you should expect that indeed to be the case. And it's easy to understand why. There's more money in it. So it's harder to move markets when there's way, way, way more money in it. And there was way more of a frenzy back, a decade ago. That's for damn sure. There's this post also from chart analyst Ali Martinez. He said, Bitcoin needs to climb back above $66,254 quickly to avoid a potential correction down to $61,100. And he posted that just in the evening, just last night. And so at the time that I'm recording this, it is safely above that $66,339. But he says that's the level to watch for. And it's not completely clear whether or not there will be another shakeout to the downside or upside. There's some level of disagreement. Mostly analysts are just saying, well, flip a coin. That's what it looks like to me anyway. But it doesn't matter because it doesn't change what happens big picture. Big picture, bull run's still intact. We're just talking about the short term. That's where there's the uncertainty. Here's a post from Ki-Young Zhu. He is the founder and CEO of CryptoQuant. And this is a chart showing Bitcoin traders' entry price, which I find fascinating because understanding this will give you a better idea of how humans may behave. Because depending on where you buy, I mean, if it's way lower than where the price is now, if it could dip a fair bit, maybe you're not phased. But if you bought more recently and you get a pretty substantial dip, that's when people get shaken out. It's all relative, right? People do not feel good when things go in the red. And so here he wrote, Bitcoin traders' average entry price is $47,000-ish. In a bull market, Bitcoin price usually stays above the trader's entry price. Even with a 27% drop, it can still be considered a bull market. Stay long-term bullish, but avoid excessive risks. This is financial advice. Yeah, and fair enough. He says that's financial advice, and certainly taking excessive risks, yeah. Spending more than you're willing to lose in case you're wrong. Using leverage is bad for almost every single human on the planet. Way more humans use that than they should, but is what it is. There's this post from on-chain analytics firm Santiment, and they wrote the following. The crowd is showing fear after Bitcoin has fallen to $65,000, its lowest market value since May 16th. Spikes in mentions of selling or taking profit are common after a drop, and a temporary bounce and buy opportunity may form if we see continued FUD and panic from small traders. And it is indeed the typical lemming retail speculators, the small traders, that drive this market, and I am so thankful that they exist. I'm glad I don't fit their behavioral profile, let's say. I'm glad I'm not that. But I am glad they exist because they're the ones that make completely ridiculous, irrational, reckless decisions that cause the volatility, and volatility is the purpose of investing. I mean, do you want to invest in something where it literally just doesn't move? You put it in, it just is what it is. I don't. Volatility is the purpose of investing, and these are the idiot sticks that cause it. Thank you very much. Here's a post from chart analyst Jelly, and this is just laying it down. The people that have been here for more than 5 seconds, this is the type of perspective you see from them and you should expect from them. So this chart analyst says, after every previous Bitcoin halving, price moved a lot higher. I'm having a hard time believing this time is different. Okay. Setting aside the halving stuff because I'm not convinced that particularly matters and people can respectfully disagree, that's fine. This time is not different. Whether the halving is the mark, or it's more so liquidity cycles, which are close to the 4-year cycle, but not quite the same, which means that this cycle ends sooner. Okay, whatever. Either way, I agree with the sentiment at the end of that. Hard time believing. Yeah, that's right, because this time is different. Famous last words. Here's a post from chart analyst 360 Trader. I shared the following with his 195,000 followers on X, and he agrees. He says, end of cycle, folks. Need to explain why whales don't know it's over this go round. And so he's saying like right now, the type of people that are saying the top's already in for this cycle, it's over, which you are seeing that actually. I've seen some of that creep up into my feed on X. He's saying, okay, well, need to explain why the whales don't know it's over this go round because at previous peaks in the last 3 cycles, dating back a decade, when the price hit the new all-time high, I see it's the price for Bitcoin, the white line, you can see that the whales started selling well before that. And since it's a zoomed out chart going back over a decade, it doesn't look as pronounced, but it's a substantial time frame. I mean, this is probably months, at least. So they started selling, and the price continues to go up. Look at, see the orange line? It's going down. Whales getting out, price going up, retail lemming speculators getting in. So that was a decade ago. Here you can see 2017, same story here. Whales getting out, they're distributing, and what happens to the price? Price keeps going up, but eventually the bubble bursts, as bubbles do. And last market cycle, 2020, 2021, same story right here. So are you telling me that that's the behavior? Like I was saying earlier, and I was kind of joking, but there is truth to what I was saying. Like, as humans, we're kind of like biological robots. We have our dispositions. We're wired by nature in certain ways, and also there's the nurture side. I'm not denying that, of course, but as a result of that, you do see that if you have a large enough sample size of humans, you're going to get the same mix of the type of people, roughly speaking, over and over and over again. Well, it's this. So you get the idiot stick lemming retail speculators, but you also get the whales on the other side that do far better, and they keep behaving the same too. They just do. It's provably true. So if this is the end of the cycle, please explain why this time is actually different. Why don't the whales know this time? Why are the whales behaving like the idiot lemming retail speculators, the small traders? Why are they behaving like the small money? That doesn't make sense, does it? Might this not be the top? Do it. And I say that with I'd say a deserved level of confidence, though I will admit I could be wronged. I don't speak in absolutes on almost anything, but my conviction is incredibly high that indeed this goes higher, including alts. And the reason I'm going through this is because if you're like me and you care about the altcoins more, especially XRP, yes, that's why I'm going through this, so that you can understand. Because if this does keep going to the upside, which I think it's reasonable to assume it will, of course XRP follows. Why the hell would it not? Here's a post from chart analyst Nick Crypto Crusader. He said, looking at my timeline, it seems like the majority don't know what capitulation looks like and how bullish it actually is. Yep, spot on. And so you can tell, again, the people that have been here for more than 5 seconds, they get it. You see comments like that. Here's a post from XRP chart analyst Bobby A. He says, all I know is that in the past, when XRP traded as compressed as it is right now, for as long as it has been, the price exploded. History will rhyme. Okay, so if the typical, think about this, if the typical lemming retail speculators, they're going to keep behaving the same, if the whales are going to keep behaving the same, tell me why XRP, the people that would speculate on XRP, they're not going to continue to behave the same, because the only way it would make sense to think that that's what's probable is if something materially changed to the negative in the XRP ecosystem. But it hasn't. In fact, to the contrary, the XRP ecosystem, it's healthy and it's the most alive it's ever been. It's expanding. So you're telling me humans keep acting like humans because people are going to people, except for with XRP. Are you really going to make that case? That doesn't make a damn bit of sense. Here's a post from chart analyst E. Greg Crypto and XRP USD chart. And he said, XRP, what's going to happen next? Some of the XRP army is literally confused. I can sense only the OGs are bullish AF. Well, do you see the theme here? And the reason that everybody that has been around for more than 5 seconds keeps sharing posts like this, it's because they're speaking from experience. Nobody can guarantee you anything, duh, and I admit that for sure. I always admit that. But it does not make sense to be fearful here. It just doesn't. And so when he says, I can only sense the OGs are bullish AF, well, I guess I'm one now, right? I mean, this November, I'll have been here for 7 years. Does that count? Because crypto's only existed for 15, so I've been here almost half the time. I'm sure as hell I'm not afraid. I am the most optimistic I've ever been about this. Egret Crypto then said, will XRP soar to new heights or face another dip based on the below chart? XRP Army stays steady. Dawn always brings hope after the darkness. Spot on, Egret Crypto. I do indeed agree. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.